Hey, what's up, everybody? Time for another community, video game community, if you will, kind of discussion. I don't know. Following up that video I did recently. Remember, if you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you want. Appreciate it. Thanks. Again, we were talking about this idea that you can't just out execute your opponent anymore, which was a huge way people consistently won versus other players in the past. Almost talking as if it's a bad thing, as if execution isn't a skill. And I've said this before, and someone else had brought this up in the comments, so it made me think about this just to relate this specific thing to this. I've said before, there is no fucking proof whatsoever, none whatsoever, that making a game easier will make people play the game, right? Even if you think about a game like Street Fighter 4, let's say a game like Street Fighter 4 reinvigorated the scene, I don't know, rejuvenated the scene, gave the scene a one up, put an extra quarter in the machine of the FGC or something, Street Fighter 4. I don't know how the fuck you want to phrase it, right? But so let's look at it from this perspective. If one of the problems of Street Fighter 4 was that execution could matter too much, which I don't think. I think execution is overblown. I think the idea of execution is overblown in Street Fighter 4 in the first place. But even if we were to assume that Street Fighter 4 is negative because there is so much execution, again, not that I believe that, but why is Street Fighter 4 more popular? Why did it sell more than these other games, right? Because if we just look at Street Fighter 4, where's Street Fighter 4 in this thing? Across all platforms, 9 million, not quite 10 million, right? Street Fighter 5 across all platforms, 7 million. So you're telling me that in this day and age, with as much fucking shilling that goes on now, shilling, you got all these fake fucking content creators actually shilling the game to you. It's sold less, even though the game is easier, and Street Fighter 4 was a problem because it took more execution. Well, Street Fighter 4 sold more than Street Fighter 5, so I don't think what you're saying doesn't actually make sense. And something that I've said this before too, you got to remember, and I've always said this about Street Fighter 2, if we look at Street Fighter 2 multi-platform, 15.5 million, double of Street Fighter 5, double. A game that had no hand holding, a game that is not just a game that's not just a important fighting game, it's one of the most important video games of all time. I've said this before, if you can't appreciate Street Fighter at all whatsoever, I don't think you actually really like fighting games. I think the idea that you like fighting games is kind of questionable if you just hate the Street Fighter 2 series. I think that sounds questionable. And something else that I've talked about before that I want you to think about this as well. Street Fighter 2, we have 15.5 million copies sold. I don't think I've looked and it's actually not including the arcade versions, which is kind of crazy, right? But I guess arcade versions, I saw something, there's like, just 60,000 of this game, blah, blah, of this. So there's less, but you could still add to that. And because, there's not really, I would assume the arcade releases of Street Fighter, there's not anywhere near as much as Street Fighter 2 series as well. But Street Fighter 2 is what? 1991, I think Street Fighter 2 came out, right? Oh yeah, it says right there, 1991. I'm an idiot. 1991 Street Fighter 2 came out. Super, what? Super Turbo came out in what, like 94? That's 3 years of time. 3 years of time it sold that much. And then we have games like Street Fighter 4. How long did Street Fighter 4 go on? 5 years, 6 years, or some shit like that. Street Fighter 5, again, Street Fighter 5, how long were they updating Street Fighter 5? 5 or 6 years? So again, doubling the time. So you're telling me that Street Fighter 2 has double the sales of a game like Street Fighter 5 in half the amount of time. Now, I definitely can agree with you that, lightning doesn't always strike twice. And certainly if you think about, Street Fighter 2 is such a cultural, moment in the history of God. I guess you could actually kind of fucking say the world, actually. It's kind of crazy if you think about it, right? It's like it's a world phenomenon, right? So, there's it's a little bit of a padded stack. But even then, dude, you're like half the time of Street Fighter 5, half the time of Street Fighter 4. But again, the point is this idea that execution doesn't matter and all this kind of skill, what is skill, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's so bad that you could out execute a person as if you're that fucking smart in the first place. Give me a fucking break, dude. Give me a break. Not impressed, but. And again, so anyway, the point is Street Fighter 5, though, compared to Street Fighter 4. Where's Street Fighter 4 again? I got my glasses on, don't I? Oh, it was closer than Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, it's closer. Why am I looking up? Street Fighter 4 sold more copies. And yet Street Fighter 4 is a problem game because certainly, people would never play a game with more execution. Again, I've said this before so many fucking times now. Most people that want to pretend that they're smart aren't fucking smart about a video game, dude. Most people aren't good at video games. It's very rare to meet a person that can actually do one. Even more rare to meet somebody that can do both. People constantly say such fucking retarded shit about video games. It absolutely blows my mind. Incapable of having an intelligent conversation. You know? Again, and I've always said before as well, people say they hate execution, they hate all this kind of crap. Oh, we hate all these complicated stuff, but look, guess what? What do motherfuckers do? Always looking for the next, this is my amazing option select that is so skillful. This is my amazing thing, blah, blah, blah. Because guess what? Most people aren't good at video games. So they want to find that one weird thing that only they can do to seem good. Oh, but you hate execution. You hate all these option select sets, but you're trying to fucking find them because, you're not actually good at the fucking game itself, dude. So anyway, I just, someone had commented and it just gives me another opportunity to show this, to show that people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Remember, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. The end.